What is up, guys? Fadeaway82. It is my absolute pleasure to bring you guys a glimpse of a Rust live short film that some players put together. I did not make this, so I cannot take any credit for that, but I was graciously allowed to record my commentary over it. It was uploaded to Reddit, and a lot of people had some difficulty following the narrative, if you will, of it. So I'm going to do a commentary to sort of help you out with that, and also to give the Rust community another chance to see this stunning video. These players have a lot of heart, a lot of soul, and a lot of knowledge of Rust, as is evident by every minute detail of this video. So getting right into it, we have a fresh spawn who's woken up on a beach. He's confused, he's trying to figure out where he is, and he's going forward and hitting up a tree with that rock. Hot on his tail is what appears to be a scavenger player here. This player's name is Crimson, and he is decked out with roadside armor, a coffee can helmet, and he has a salvage sword and rad boots. His intentions are unknown. He certainly looks ominous. He does have a bandaged leg, so we know he's been in some type of a fight here. That may have been environmental with an animal attacking him, or it may have been from a PvP skirmish. So we're not really sure what's going on with this player, but this is a glimpse of another co-occurring piece of action in this Rust world, if you will. Also occurring at the same time, we have a clan over here which is gearing up in their loot room. You'll notice that they have tables which will soon be added into Rust. There are some antlers hanging from the roof, and those storage shelves have been put to good use. They're rolling out with their gear. It looks to be about mid-game in Rust because they do have some gear progression. They're not completely naked. Moving on over here, we have a player named Mac. He is a solo player going it alone. He's using his machete to harvest trees, and it looks as though he's being stalked by what is a wolf. Mac becomes aware of this and slowly makes his way to his pipe shotgun. That water pipe shotgun is a good early game weapon, but it's something that does stay with Rust players through the end game because it's really a very powerful piece of equipment. It is one shot, so it has a slow reload, but if you make that shot count, most things will go down with a well-placed shot. And Mac makes it to his water pipe shotgun just in time as he's able to dispatch that wolf. And moving on over here, we are taking a look, guys, again at Rust Fragments, which is a community-created live Rust event. Again, I cannot take credit for this, putting this together other than the commentary, but it's absolutely beautiful. These are different vignettes, I believe, that were put together, and they sort of come together at the end. So moving back over, we are taking another look at Mac here. Thank you guys for the reference to Fadeaway82. That's a much appreciated nod and really does mean a lot to me. So Mac is trying to survive as best he can. He is eating those beans and he's throwing them into the fire to get metal fragments, guys. Just like in Rust recently, you can throw those bean cans into, and the tuna cans into the fires to harvest the fragments on the fly. Again, these players have a very deep knowledge of Rust. At the same time that Mac was fighting in the woods for his life with a wolf, Mark and the clan were over-raiding a compound. Taking best raiding practices into account, they were focusing first on those outer flank towers or perimeter towers rather than going for the main compound itself. Again, guys, just take a moment to appreciate the amount of detail in this Rust short film, this live film. The metal face mask that the player's wearing, the track pants that the other players have on as well, the bucket helmet, the custom SMG, the riot helmet, everything here is about as well put together as I think it could possibly be in a Rust short film. So they successfully were able to take out the first flank tower, and at this point in time, Mark, who's the leader, is telling his men, or the majority of his men, to roll out towards an incoming airdrop that is in close proximity to the raid team. This is one of the benefits of having a larger group. He can break apart into separate fire teams. So Mark's staying back with one of his men to continue to breach that compound as his men roll out. At the same time, we're moving back over and we're taking a look at what Crimson is up to. Crimson again is out scavenging. Again, the intentions are unknown, but this is going to give us some insight into what Crimson is all about. He has found a sleeper on the beach, and instead of going up and looting the body as he would be able to do, he chooses to kill the player with his salvage sword. As we can see that the stream turns red here. So Crimson is definitely a savage player. He's definitely a player who's going to kill other players on sight. That may be because he's a jaded Rust player, or it may be just because he enjoys PvP. Either way, he is someone to be feared. So he's found a small stash. Inside that small stash was a bean can grenade. He has also acquired a spear from that player, and this is now going to give Crimson more options, more weapons at his disposal, which is going to be important because he also is interested in that incoming airdrop. We've seen a glimpse of the lightning, which will be added into Rust next week. Just kidding, guys, that's not the case, so just fucking with you. But getting right into it, back at the airdrop, or at the airdrop for the first time, we have a player who's first on scene here. Looks like he has a pistol, and Mac moves into place. Mac's going through one of the new procedurally generated streams, which looks stunning, and he's moving his way into position, taking cover behind a tree with an absolutely badass water pipe shotgun. Take a look, guys, at the amount of detail put into that alone in this video. Mac doesn't have the heart to shoot the player here, but thankfully he didn't have to because Mark's clan members came down and dispatched that player quickly with the custom SMG. Mac was enraged at seeing that and took that player out, but he only wounded the player, and that player was revived by his teammate. At this point in time, they're moving into position and they're attempting to flank Mac to get him to smoke him out from behind that tree, and Crimson now comes into play. He has arrived at the airdrop and he's taking out the player who had the bucket helmet on and that custom SMG. He wounds him with a sword and he finishes him off with an Ioka pistol before kicking his lifeless body into a stream. Crimson, again, is an absolutely brutal savage here, but his PvP skills are to be respected. I would say Crimson is the alpha here. Crimson's able to quickly strafe out of the way and acquire the custom SMG as the Naked from the beginning of the video runs away in absolute terror. Crimson runs out of ammo, but he's able to attach a bean can grenade onto a spear. I believe that's in nod to those upcoming arrow tips that we may soon be seeing, and if not, still brilliant nonetheless. Crimson's ripping it apart down here, and it's now gone down to melee combat. It's between Crimson and Mac at this point in time, with the player with the riot helmet being in a wounded state on the ground, watching all this go down. Even though Crimson appears to be the alpha and the better with the PvP skills, Mac is very adept as well, and he's able to, by luck of the draw, get to a gun here and take Crimson out with a few well-placed shots from that semi-auto pistol. Mac now has a dilemma. He can loot this airdrop and get the hell out of there, or he can try to save the life of another player. And Mac has decided to focus his efforts on healing up that wounded player who, at a point previous, was trying to kill Mac. So this, guys, is a glimpse in Rust of how players can sometimes be friendly, and that is communicated in this video. We can see that satellite dish looms in the distance there as Mark and the additional clan member move into place here. Mark appears to be confused at what he's seeing. Rather than shooting on sight, he's curious as to why someone who's not in his clan is healing up one of his clanmates. I believe that Mark respects this, and he is choosing to let Mac live another day. It is very clear that Mark isn't, I think, focused on not wanting to kill Mac, but it appears as though it's more of, let him be, let's loot the bodies, let's get our man back, we'll get him another day. But I think he respects Mac's intentions on a certain level, and that, I believe, is what we are seeing here. Once again, hats off to Fritz, Nicholas, Noah, Cameron, and Riley for putting this short film together. It took an immense amount of patience, editing, time, and attention to detail to be able to do this. It's also evident that these players really love Rust and have a lot of passion for the game, so I'm happy to be able to help showcase it off here and add some commentary to it to help people better understand what's going on. Leaving this, guys, this was a short film, but I think this shows how Rust seeps into sort of popular consciousness. These are young adults making this film, but just imagine children outside who may have played Cowboys and Indians in the past now choosing to simulate Rust. Let's play Rust outside. Is that a terrifying concept or an interesting one? I don't know. Fado82, peace.